Okay, this story is a little bit longer than I would like it to be because it's just a lot of detail, but this is back when I worked at Five Guys. So Five Guys is a place where they make everything fresh, never frozen. And so that meant we had to prep everything in the back every morning based off the sales we made the week before on that particular day. So Mondays usually meant a lot more prep, and, towards the end of the week meant a lot less prep. But sometimes, it fluctuates. Anyways, so the cast that we have for this, because I can't say their names, just try to bear with me. We have Fries, the person who's in charge of fries. Grills, who's the person, of course, in charge of the grill. Prep, which is the person in the back usually washing the dishes or cutting fries. Mr. Bossman, which is the top leader boss guy who is in charge of 2 different locations, and me. I guess OP. That particular day, since there being 5, 2 people left, which was Prep and Mr. Bossman. They left to go do something. Not really related to each other, but they left the building. So that left only 3 people, which was Fries, Grill, and me. So Mr. Bossman told me to go wash the dishes, and so, because I was fairly new in the building, because I had relocated from one Five Guys to another, he told me to do something simple, so that was to go wash the dishes. But when I went to the back to go wash the dishes, Mr. Grills was already back there doing that. So I was like, well, I don't know what else to do. I guess I'll just stand around. Bear in mind, when I was at the Five Guys previous to the location I was currently working at, they had warned me about Mrs. Fries because apparently they might have an attitude problem. I don't know why, but they did. So I was like, oh, okay, there's nothing I can do about that, and I'm pretty sure I can handle it. Well, I didn't necessarily underestimate them, but I was definitely quite quickly learned about what it is they meant by be advised. So when I should explain a bit about the fries situation. So we make everything fresh in the back, but fries is kind of important because not only do we have our potatoes up front to show everybody, hey, we use these potatoes to make fries. So in order to make our fries, we cut them in the back, put them in water to de-starch them, or at least take as much starch off as possible. Put them in cold water for them to, set up or whatever, keep fresh. Then we take them to the front and do 2 different cooking stages. So the first cook, they sit in the fryer. They sit in the fryer for 2 minutes. The first stage, they have to be cooked for about 2 minutes. And the second stage, they do the final cook, which is ready to be given to the customers. Mrs. Fries was working on the fries when I was standing in the lobby area when they went to the back to do something. I was drifting off into a different dimension when I realized, hey, those fries were down there for a little too long. I was thinking maybe I should go up there and pull them up, but since because I wasn't trained on fries, I didn't want to do something I wasn't supposed to, but I knew something was wrong. So I went to the back and found that Mrs. Fries was talking to Mr. Grill and showing him her phone. Technically, we're not supposed to have her phone, but, during prep hour, we can listen to music. Well, she was talking to him, and I had called their name several times. Apparently, they're hard of hearing. And finally, I got their attention to go deal with the fries. She went to the front to go deal with it, and I was talking to Mr. Grill when she came running back. And this is when, the warning of watch her attitude became prevalent. So she said, why didn't you pull the fries up? And I was confused and tried to explain that I can't. But before I finished, she mocked me and was saying we're supposed to be working as a team. And you didn't, keep my back. And while I was trying to explain to her that I wasn't prepped, she continued to mock me and tried to leave. When I got tired of her attitude, called her out saying, you need to quit acting like a child. And then she has this, I don't know exactly how to say it without somehow coming off as racist, because there is a name for it, but I just can't say it. So just understand that this childish behavior requires her to act out of turn and talk a specific way. So I tried telling her, yo, you need to quit with that attitude because I don't feel like dealing with this and nobody has to deal with this, because I don't know how many times anyone else has to deal with this, but I'm not that kind of person. So I was always taught that using swear words, despite my personality, is not the way to express what you have to say. It pretty much meant that you're an idiot and didn't know how to talk. So even though obviously I was at the age of realizing that's BS and that doesn't work, I was still, being fairly respectful and telling her, in a respectful tone, stop acting like a child, grow up and get over it. And she eventually reached to that point where her color showed to start calling me names. And I'm just like, wow, really? I'm sitting here talking to you like a civilized person and you don't know how to act. And Mr. Grill, by the way, is the biggest dude in that building. Is not standing between us, but just monitoring, making sure nobody got into a fight. And that's when Mr. Boss Guy walks in, and that's when he hears her call me the B word. And he was like, no, bear in mind, Mr. Boss Man is nothing but smiles. He's not the kind of person you would often see or ever see in a bad mood. So when he had to raise his voice, it meant serious business. He told us to both drop it and move on. But this was just the start of a new relationship. That meant that she would spend most of her time giving me a hard time for no reason. And yeah, even though, I worked hard to do my job, and she went out of her way to give me a hard time, all because, why not? The good news was, in all that chaos, I was in the good, because there was obviously somebody watching over the fight and had my back and told the supervisors, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. I was just, putting her in her place. And yeah, luckily I was not in any trouble. I didn't have to sign anything. I didn't get written up. I don't know if they got written up. I don't really care because I don't work there anymore. But yeah, everybody was on my side and making sure that she didn't do anything she wasn't supposed to. And everything that she did do was definitely put to a stop. And everything I did do to try to defend myself was justified. Not saying that they picked any favorites, but, they did it to themselves, and there's nothing I can do about it, because, it's whatever. But I figured I'd share this little story, because I didn't really have any crazy chaos that's going on at any of the restaurants that I've worked in. So, why not share that little bit of information?